we are looking at some nice new cool things that Angular has to offer. So this is the Angular introduction to new Angular.Dev version 17, new releases, features, components, updates, user interfaces. Let's see what this has in store for us as front end developers and see how we can improve our user interfaces, how we can improve our applications, how we can improve our sites um, as we continue offering the best to our users. So this is the new Angular website. It's Angular.Dev, and what we're gonna start with is basically the old and the current before the release, because as you can see here, ng update to Angular 17 on the November 8th. So recording of this video is November 7th. Obviously, everyone has went through the special Angular event. You've seen what features they have to offer, and if you haven't, we'll share those right here, and you can stay tuned um, just to see what they have catered for in terms of new development and features as well. So let's basically on our browser, we can still go to Angular and then just type enter. We don't want Angular, we don't want Angular Dev, we just want Angular. Let's just go Angular, not that one. Let's just go there. So you want to type Angular and then get to the Google search. Then we'll go to the first link, which is angular.io, and basically this is what we have as of current, and we do have the special Angular event YouTube video that is highlighted here to say hello again to Angular. So this is Angular, they call it the renaissance of Angular, so it's a resurrection to much greater glory with cooler stuff, with much more feature reach, and that's what basically developers have been looking for. So this is the old website as we know it, simple, straightforward, as usual, and easy to navigate, and that's basically how it looks like. And also you can see here there's a banner at the top, say hello to Angular's future home. So this is the future home that they want us to go to, so you can just check out Angular.Dev, which essentially gets us to the new Angular.Dev right there. So this website, it looks super cool, and it's so nice and interactive. So you can see welcome to Angular.Dev, the future home for Angular, read about beta launch, and then the next flag or the next banner is ng updates to 17 on November 8th, and then you can learn more as well from there. So but cool stuff when you scroll on the website, just look at the animations, guys. Seamless and straight to the point. It's not over cluttered, or it's not um, it's not packed with things that you don't need, components that you don't need. Straight to the point, works at any scale, so it's mobile, web, or desktop, you can still see it. So Angular lets you start small on a well lit path and supports you as your team and apps grow. So that's basically straight to the point. Look at those animations, look how lovely that comes up. Loved by millions, join the million of developers all over the world. So let's just continue there and build for everyone. Rely on Angular's built-in hydration, in internationalization, security, and accessibility support to build for everyone around the world. So you can see they still keep the essence of how their websites are, their support and help and assistance tools, how simple it is, how straight to the point it is. Doesn't have a lot of information, it just gets straight to the point. This is basically the main.ts, which is the root component that you have on ng new. You then have your main.ts, which has basically that, and you can see installing packages for us, so that you can see the preview and console and the terminal right here is available. So you can see all of these offered right here, and just keep scrolling and see what we have. And basically that's the end of the website. We'll just have to wait for the reload, and then you can see that 114 packages are looking for funding, run npm fund for details. So you can see it's doing all of these ng-dev start and all of those, retrieving the packages for us and installing that so that we can see the preview over there. But we can go back so long. So build for everyone and all of those nice animations, nice components that they're showcasing just at the start of the website itself. So essentially on this release they have emphasized more than enough that it is for beautiful, easy to use, feature rich development, and also fast performance and developer experience. That's basically what they want to achieve here, and I'm pretty sure they nailed it because the development has been going on for some time and it is open source, and we know with Angular it's always been open source and emphasize open source. So it allows other developers to contribute to the project and what other features or cool stuff that they can add or contribute in terms of development and the framework itself. So without wasting any of your time, let's just get to the gist and nitty-gritties of what Angular um, Renaissance is essentially. So if you want to go, let's go to the docs and see what they have to offer there. So what is Angular? Angular is a web framework that empowers developers to build fast, reliable applications and is maintained by a dedicated team at Google. Angular provides a broad suite of tools, APIs, libraries to simplify and streamline your development workflow. So Angular gives you a solid platform on which to build fast, reliable applications that scale with both the size of your team and the size of your code base. So the scalability of this framework, essentially it covers both the actual code base and also the size of the team, so you can be able to support and add new features or support existing features, and also deliver the best experiences to your users and clients in your projects as well. So this is basically what developers have been looking for and they have been longing for the longest of time. And the fact that Angular has catered for such in terms of development with Angular, I think we would have more devs moving towards this, because there's a lot of guys that will be talking about your different JavaScript frameworks that they use, and I don't want to mention names currently, or different IDEs that they use, and all of those things, or for mobile development or whatever type of development that they do for their user interface. And it's I think it's about time that Angular has adjusted to the modern way of doing things, and this offering here is what is Angular's response to basically the field and saying, guys, we are here, we exist, and this is what we have to offer. We've been doing this for the longest of time, and now see what we have. So if we want to see some code here, let's just jump over to Essentials for a quick overview of what it's like to use Angular. So let's just jump, before we jump there, let's just go through what they have here on the landing page of Essentials. So features that power your development, so they have some of those, and they do have a lot of performance targets with SSR, SSG. So basically that is your server-side rendering, your static site generation, and these are the some of the features that you would want to emphasize when it comes to high performance and making sure that users have the best experience on your applications as well. So you do see that they also emphasize the lazy loading of templates, and making sure that content on your application is quick and easily available to serve your users. So that's one thing that I can commend them for. And also, let's see that develop applications faster than ever. So effortlessly build, server, test, deploy with Angular CLI, and then visually debug, analyze, and optimize your code with Angular Dev tools, browser extensions. So these are some of the features that have always been there. I think now they are just putting an emphasis or the improvements that are there are much more highlighted and much more profound than the previous versions, because this is a big release for them. And obviously, with a big release like this, we would expect a lot of improvements in terms of the framework and the core features. So let's jump on to essentials here. And then before you start, what they highlight here is like most modern frameworks, Angular expects you to be familiar with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So they recommend that new devs please do understand the fundamentals. So go through the fundamentals of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And that way you are well equipped to understand the framework and what it does and what it seeks to achieve. Then going through this tutorial will definitely be much more easier, efficient, and quick. So you should basically cover these three topics here: JavaScript classes, TypeScript fundamentals, TypeScript decorators. So with these, you should be in a good space to get the gist of how Angular operates or how Angular functions to deliver applications and interact with other APIs and microservices to bring a fully fledged application. So if you are a fan of the channel, you know that it's been a while since we did Angular tutorials, and now we're moving back to Angular so that you can see how you can plug Angular on your projects and also your applications. So we'll dive deep into a lot of components that are offered now on the version 17. We'll go deeper into uh, data tables, lists, search, filters, drop down filters, and basically API data retrieve, login, logout, and all of those we would need to cater for. And the last video that we did in the channel was the YouTube clone, which was a small application just to show how to stream or stream content from your back end into your front end Angular web application. So we showcased that, and now we want to go and showcase some of other components that you can use, and also more feature driven videos and tutorials so that you can have as much as you can to use on your daily projects. And I'm pretty sure that with this new release we'll be digging deep into each feature, and that will be much more longer, much more intense, and going straight into what developers use mostly on day to day, so that it's easier for them to implement and get to release and deploy their changes and features much more quicker. So this is basically the overview of essentials, and we want to make sure that the fundamentals, as developers, we do have them and we understand them. And once we have the fundamentals, then the framework itself would be easier to understand. So now composing with components. So as you can see, these are just components, the fundamentals, building blocks for creating applications in Angular. Components provide structure for organizing your project into easy to understand parts with clear responsibilities, so that your code is maintainable and scalable. Here's an example of how a to-do application could be broken down into a tree of components. So all these components, they have different structure, and basically you can then maintain them in that particular sense, and also to scale is not going to be that much of a challenge, because each and every individual piece moves as its own component. And if you have seen our previous tutorials, this is what we always do. Each component must be in its own structure, and then that particular structure will then handle that particular component. This is a to-do app, to-do list, to-do item, to-do matrix. So in the to-do app, that will be the main component handling all the other ones, and then the to-do list is just a list of to-do tasks, and then the to-do list item will be the list item, which is the task details and what it is, maybe if it has a schedule, the start time, the end time, and all of those. And then the to-do matrix, the analytics, and see how your application or the actual component itself, whatever it has to do, whatever metric that you want to put up there, which task like repeat themselves and all of those things, the metrics will then sit in the to-do metrics right here. So this is just a structure of how that essentially is. And basically now we're diving deeper into like defining a component. You have decorator that contains some configuration, and then an HTML template that controls what renders in the DOM, and a CSS selector which gives us a style, then a TypeScript class that handles the state, user input, fetching data from a server, API or HTTP microservice. And that's basically a component. That's how a component looks like. So it does have the add component annotation, which is a decorator in Angular language. So it basically looks like that. It's nothing new. This is what Angular has always looked like, and this is not a shocker, so it's not a really massive change right there. Then I think for a component, that's what that is. And then managing dynamic data and a whole lot of features as well here, but we will cover all of these as we dive deep into the actual tutorials. Right now, let's just uh, go through what they have and what they are offering. So with that said, now we can jump to let's start coding here, and you will see that it says welcome to Angular tutorial. This interactive tutorial will teach you the basic building blocks to start building great apps with Angular. So it's an Angular guide, and with the tutorial we'll go through it. We'll see what they offer, see how we can implement it in real life with real data that we can fetch from a server or an API, and then we'll feed the data into the application, and also we'll do some authentication, authorization, and you will see that in action. And also have all of these data lists, data tables, filter, search, um, live reload, and all of those. We would want to achieve them with this tutorial right here. And you can see they get straight to the point. They have the code base right here, which is the app.component.ts, which is very handy when you are creating your new application. It basically gives you the first component, which is app.component.ts, and then you'll have a preview here which says welcome to Angular. And you can see that welcome to Angular is this template here, and it can be that text like that, or it can be an HTML file, which will then be a template that you want to show to your users, and then will be displayed over here as the preview. So if you're new to Angular, don't worry, we will go through all of these and you will see it in real time, and you will be able to plug it on your side. So now ready to explore more of Angular. So what is Angular? I've covered that. The playground, the Angular's roadmap. Then they have Angular YouTube course over here as well. So let's just check the roadmap on what they have to offer. Oh, so this is the roadmap. So let's learn how the Angular team is building momentum on the web. So this is an open source project, and it has the Angular's daily commits, PRs, and momentum is all trackable on GitHub. So to increase transparency into how this daily work connects to the framework's feature, our roadmap brings together the team's current and future plan vision. So you're able to see and understand with the docs that they offer on the GitHub repo. So you see the vision, you see what they're trying to achieve, and also if you have a feature that you want to add, or you have found a bug, or you have an issue, then you can address it in that particular forum. Let's see what else do they have here. So they have currently Angular has two goals for the framework. So the first one is improve the Angular developer experience, which is very key. Improve the framework's performance, which is very important when it comes to user experience, and also delivering high performance applications with improved and enhanced user user journey. So this basically continue reading to learn how we plan to deliver these objectives with specific project work. So we can explore some modern Angular. So these are ready to experience with explore Angular signals, then hydration, deferrable views, building control flow, and then production ready, migrate your Angular to MDC, migrate to standalone APIs, improve image performance with ng optimized image, try out inject. So these are all of these modern features that they are, or the latest features that they are offering on the release, and we should be able to use this on our project and see them in action as well. So that is one thing we can definitely look out for. And let me see, improvement CDK, improved tooling. So improved tooling, basically we want to make sure that we have unit testing tool with our ng tests. Test your code base, make sure it does what it's supposed to do, it fulfills all the test cases, and you're happy with the changes that you've introduced or the features that you've introduced. So these will come in very handy to test our code base. Iframe support in Angular Dev tools. So with the dev tools, we're able to debug, see where the issues are, and address those accordingly. And that's basically gonna come in very handy. Automation of transition of existing hybrid rendering project to ES build and void. So this is very key for us. And then streamline standalone imports with our language service, and that's gonna be okay. Now let's jump to the fast by default. So this is good that they are making it by default. So we're enabling hybrid rendering by default. So SSR and SSG, this is what I highlighted, server-side rendering and static side generation. So we want to make sure that the projects are fast, high performing, the response and the render time to the DOM is optimized so that users can have the best experience of the application, and they can stay for much longer because the experience is just seamless and that easy. So introduce deferred loading. So we ship deferred views in developer preview, which provide an economic API for deferred code loading. As the next step, we will be iterating on community feedback before officially making this feature stable. So that's one thing that they're looking for, which is good. And let's see, hot module reload. So hot module reload is fast track CSS only changes and apply them to an existing components, and fast track Angular templates only changes and apply them to an existing component. So basically this also addresses any hot changes or reloads, and that basically caters for the high performance that they are highlighting and they are emphasizing as well, which is very key to know which specific features that they will be looking at enhancing as well. Let's see, completed projects. So they've done a lot because the project started a few months ago, so they've been busy working on different features as well. So you can see modernized getting started tutorial, so to make it easy and seamless, and also align it to the latest release, and then investigate modern bundlers for deployments, production ready, and all of those features to make sure that you compile and you have a better build. Essentially that's that. And introduced dependency injection debugging APIs. Oh, that's also amazing. So any dependency injections, you can go through it and debug that also with the APIs that will be available there. And then let's see, improve documentation and schematics for standalone components. So this is very key to understand the schematics collection, allowing to create apps free of ng modules. That is one thing that we would need to explore as well. So let's see, documentation, refactoring. Let me see, I'm trying to see, just highlight like key uh, rollout strict typings for ng forms. So forms, as you know, it's hard, you can hardly have an application with no form. There has to be a form somewhere. Input, data input, you'd have to handle that data, taking that as a form, and basically you want to see what improvements they have there. So they have designed a solution for introducing strict typings for forms in Q1 2022, included the corresponding requests for comments. So they also come back to the community to get feedback on the changes and see where they can improve as well. So that is actually commendable to Angular team. And yeah, I think this is basically covers a lot of the features that they've been working on. So if you want to get involved as well, you can just go to, you see, it takes you to the Git repo, and you can basically go through the code contributing to Angular, code of conduct, got a question and problem, found a bug, missing a feature, submission guidelines, and all of those. So you can have a look at this and then go through it if you have any contributing that you want to do. And that's the beauty of open source. You have the flexibility of contributing to these yourself. And then some of the components or API references that we'll be looking into. So these you've already, most of these are already existing in the current Angular version, and should be easy to migrate to the new and the latest changes. So it shouldn't be, there's no shocker here. All of this stuff is basically what we're used to: ngif, ng4, ngclass, pipeline, HTTP client for calling APIs, posting data, retrieving data, updating, and all of those. So that is basically something that we're familiar with. View child, form group, ng model, form control, router link can activate, and all of those. That is and then animations here, and then we have animations browser testing, and then we have commons, and let's see what else do we have. Common HTTP, so we have tons of those here, and we will definitely be looking into a lot of them because we do use a lot of them when creating a application that is feature rich. So we'll see these in action in the next tutorials. And then we have CLI references here. So basically the first one, as you would know, ngnew is where you start to create your application, your Angular application. That is the first command that you want to write, ngnew, and the application name. So they do give you a lot of descriptions here on what each one does and what each one seeks to achieve. So that's also something to look forward to. So you can click on any of these, and then it will take you to the um, detailed explanation and what you can do to actually achieve that particular objective with that reference. But we'll see this in our next tutorials, and we'll use them as we want. And let's see what else. Versioning and release. Angular versioning and release. Recognize that you need stability from the Angular framework. Stability ensures that reusable components and libraries, tutorials, tools, and learn practices don't become obsolete unexpectedly. So stability is essential for the ecosystem around Angular to thrive. So basically they want to make sure that all releases are stable, and you will see that let's see, uh, they do mention their release. Let me see, their release. So their releases are basically split into minor release and major release, and then it depends on when the major release it contains much bigger changes or breaking changes, and then the minor release it's on smaller changes or small features that are not really breaking changes. So they do have a minor cycle and then a major cycle release. Then they can schedule your changes or the changes that you want to contribute according to that. So you can just watch out for the latest changes or releases to get the latest stable versions as well. So let's see, version compatibility. So this is just what versions or actively supported versions. So now it's 17, previously 16, 16.0, 15, 15.0. And then if you go down here, you will see unsupported Angular versions. So if you're around here, you're already being deprecated, so it will be very handy to improve those. Then before v9, it's all of these old ones which are not recommended at this point. Then one thing that we want to highlight, browser supports Chrome, Firefox, Edge, Safari, iOS, Android. So all of these are catered for, and it should be on our radar when we are developing our applications to make sure that we cater for those as well. So let me see, this is basically workspace, project file structure, and all of these. So we'll go through these configurations and we will get to see how these basically get to be achieved to deliver our first Angular v17 application. So we'll take you through this. um, don't want to make this a video too long because we're just covering um, the essential of Angular.Dev and what it has to offer. So we see migration, standalone modules, providers, typeform, and all of those. And that looks good. That looks good. I think that's about it on the roadmap. There is more that we might need to cover here, but we would cover each bit in much more greater length and much more greater detail as we go as we dive deep into the code and start using it and see it in action, and you can start using it as well on your projects. So for now, just wanted to highlight the new um, Angular release and where it is headed to, and how we as developers need to align ourselves with such changes and such improvements in the development space. And I'm happy that Angular has finally released its latest and modernized look and feel, and with the components that they have shared and with the optimized performance and experience, will definitely be amongst the talk of the town finally as Angular.Dev. So I would say this is where I can leave it, and I would please request that you do like and subscribe. And for now, cheers.